We've got you taken care of then. And more red mutagens. Those are very much needed. So yeah, those drowned dead, they're not bad to hunt down either, for that purpose. Let's check out what that trophy does for us. See if we actually want to have it equipped. I think it will auto-equip, because that's usually what ends up happening. That one gives us bonus experience from humans and non-humans. I think that's usually what we go for. It's also not worth much. Oh, monsters or humans, non-humans. I feel like we encounter monsters more than we encounter humans and non-humans. So maybe we do stick with the short trophy in that case. Let's go that route. And then the other things were mostly crafting things. We can see if we can now make any more potions and whatnot. If it's just mutagens, then yeah, I'm going to pass on those. Yeah, nothing else. Oh, well, the quest item. Again, the short lure we don't need anymore. Okay. So, in that case, we are done down here. Let's head back. And let us also go back the way that is not requiring us to go under a bunch of water. I think this way is the one that is much, much easier to traverse. We'll collect our reward, although we may actually have a few other things to do in this general area before we do that. While we're out and about, out of town, where do we most easily get back to shore? Those are probably drowners over there. You can sort of hear them. I think that's too steep for us to get on the land there. We're probably headed over to right where those drowners are. This might actually be where we initially landed. I think it is. You normal... Ah, you're just normal drowners. Not drowned dead even. You're weak. Weak. So unfortunately we can't take you out with one agent. Just let me get the stamina back. Hit you one more time, please. Just a second. Just a second. Just a second here. Be tasty. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so we don't really want to fight these guys if they're that weak. Not really much purpose. Double check. I'm almost certain this is where we initially landed here. Yeah, it is. So I'm thinking we want to go a little bit further north and then see if there are any quests we have in this area here before we make our way back to town and turn in that quest for the reward. Because I think there were one or two things over here. It was primarily that quest we just did, of course. But what else? So that's this one. It's not this, because we were checking that out before. And despite it saying it's level 27, it's really 35, so bit of a trick there. Missing Sun, that's... oh, Ranvague is actually... That's further south. We will be headed over in that direction, I think, not long from now, probably. That's likely next on our list after we do things in this area that's a little bit closer by. What about this? Where's this one? That's also talking to someone before we actually go out and fight the monster. That is, ooh, further south still, so definitely not that. Just seeing if there's anything on our way over. I know it's not this. That we can kill two birds with one stone here. Treasure hunts even? We accidentally found ourselves doing one of these a little while ago. This one here is way up there on a totally different island, so... oh no, actually it's down here, or both these things. Either way, still very far away. Probably not next on our list. This one, X marks the spot, I think that was further south as well. I vaguely remember that we were thinking about doing that one soon. Yeah, still not really in the place we're looking for. I'm looking for something that is in between where we currently are and the town where we're about to turn something in. Just to see if that is, it'd be really simple, straightforward to do that on our way over. But I'm not really seeing anything. So maybe in that case we do just head straight back. I think we do. We don't have any fast travel spots nearby though, I don't think. Well, actually, the crossroads, I think, is not far away from here. Which would... oh, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to just thread the needle here. There we go. Oh, and there are bandits. We don't really need to fight you, do we? We don't really need to fight you. Alright, although they maybe are still trying to fight us. Based on the combat music that is still playing right now. They're trying to choose peace. But they don't want it. Are they right behind us? Girls turn around. No, it's the harpies that are now attacking us. Okay. Fine. We'll fight you. Okay. Who's next? You? Ooh, 2 for 1. Can I get you before you get back up?
What now?
I'm pretty sure you just hit a rock there, Geralt. Come on. There were maybe numerous more. So in the meantime, we can just loot you. And okay. Mostly just looking for a fast travel spot, and I thought, yeah, we were close to this one here. So let's use this. Fast travel over here, and that's where we turn on our quest, the one that we just completed. So we'll do that. And then I guess we're actually just about done with things in this immediate area here. We will go further south after that. So beam ourselves up here. Then from here we chat with, is it you? Who is it who we were just doing that quest for? Someone right here. I felt like it was you.
Job's done.
Yes.
Here's the proof.
Now why would I want to see... What the devil is that?
Water hag. An old clever one. She was the danger.
Seen a lot of ugly critters in my life. Morays, lampreys, blobfish.
Blobfish are the
Never
worst.
nothing like this. Your reward. Well earned, Witcher. Well earned.
Thanks. I deserve more. I don't think we've ever seen this option. I don't think we've ever seen this option when we've done Witcher contracts before, have we? I think it's mostly been we negotiate up front how much we're going to take from the deal, and then that's that. Once we return, we just take our reward and move on. I think this is the first time we've seen this. I mean, initially, he was saying, we expect that you're going to fight one type of enemy, and then it turned out to be an entirely different type of enemy, and his surprise there. Maybe that's the reason for this, so it seems weird. I mean, I'm interested to see what can come of this.
I deserve more. Water hag's significantly more dangerous than drowners.
Does he buy it?
Not denying it, but my coin pouch ain't exactly bottomless.
Neither is the sea. Plenty more filth ready to crawl up from its bottom. Might need my services again. And I won't stick my neck out for those who skimp on the reward.
Starting protection coin, eh? Take it. Take all I got. And choking it, you bugger.
Okay, interesting.
Golden head.
Like I said, I think that's the only time we've ever seen that happen. I don't know how many coins we ultimately ended up getting from doing that additional negotiation tactic. Obviously, don't feel great about it. Supposedly we just made that guy broke, but at the same time, that was the only ever time we've seen that option, at least I think. And so I was curious to see what would come of it. Can we actually loot those floating crates there? I mean, someone would probably get mad at us. Can we jump up onto them? I'm not sure we can. I'm not sure we can. I don't remember there being a merchant over here. Is it you? No, you're a warrior. It's you?
Greetings. Looking to buy?
Have we spoken to you before? I don't think we have.
Show me your wares.
What do you have? Oh, you have a bunch of the world mappy things, and you guys were saying that there is potentially additional reason to pick these up other than just that you get the fast travel spots, you get what, like additional information about them? So, maybe? But then again, I mean, they're like, what, 300, 100, 200, 200, 200, so like 1,000, over 1,000 gold collectively. Just feels like for something that is not strictly necessary and is something that we can ultimately end up doing ourselves, that just doesn't really feel like we ought to be doing that when we could do something else instead. I don't know. I'm a little reluctant to go that route there. And I know we've been generally having meteorite ingot as our go-to when we are sitting on a bit of extra coins, because once upon a time, you guys told me that that was something that was really important long-term for spoilery reasons, so I was like, okay, when we do have extra obols, maybe, or obols, been playing a lot of Hades recently, I guess, orange / crown / whatever, we've been making a point of picking this up, but I think we've done a lot of that as of late, so we might want to make more of a point of picking up Dimeridium, which I think is another one of those similar types of resources. or just other high-level crafting materials here. Not that we need to do any of that right now, but the other thing was that we ought to sell some of our weapons, because we have a ton of them. Oh, we picked up something new, didn't we? From that boss fight, though I don't remember what the name of it was. Hold on. Let's see if we can find it. Might have been this. If it was, then it is probably not an upgrade. Because it is a lower level, most of all. This is really beat up. Our silver sword. Didn't we repair this? Or was it our steel sword that we repaired? Oh, we repaired that very recently. I mean, we've been doing our fair share of fighting with it, yes, but still. That would be a crazy amount of deterioration very quickly. I'd be surprised. If we are to sell our weapons, then we definitely want to do that with someone who is not just a general tradesperson, but someone who's actually a specialist. So it would not be to this guy. This guy also can't afford like a single one of these weapons. So that's another reason. Oh, it was this? This is the one that we just picked up. And it does have some things that are interesting, but definitely lower damage than our current steel sword. Yeah. Oh, and we picked up a few junk weapons that are actually decent. This one, at least. Kind of, sort of. Can't use it yet. We're not a high enough level, but could see fit to sell a lot of things, actually. So, is there a place around here, not you, but with a different shopkeeper? Kind of like someone was squealing in anguish, like someone was attacking them, but maybe not. Is there basically a swordsmith or blacksmith somewhere that we can actually sell those things and get a proper deal from? See you, Rumi. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. So, let's see. We check our map. I know there were some, not here, but much further south. Like, where was it? There was the guy in, it might have been Fire's doll, that had a bunch, or was a weaponsmith that had some good stuff there and presumably would give us the right price. That is a little tempting. We also were thinking of going back toward Ranveg. We had several things around there. Maybe we go there first and see what, if anything, we can do there that could help us sell some stuff. Don't remember if you have any good tradespeople there. You may not. It was pretty small, I think. But we'll check it out.
What became of those nice Pharaoh lads who went treasure hunting in the ruins?
Are you the person who we cursed?
The blood of
No?
kings
Okay.
shall see him again.
You were talking like her. She was living here. We didn't actually see what the after effects were after we cursed her. Well, we reversed the curse that she originally said on someone else, okay? It's a little bit different. Is that the place where we landed up there? I see the shipwreck. I think so. Wherever it is, we appear to have been there already. Just looking for their shopkeeper, and if not, then there's definitely other people that we're supposed to speak to here for other quest purposes. One of which I think is at least for a Witcher contract. Not seeing any note or any markers for specific tradespeople. So I think this is probably not the place. I mean, it's not urgent per se, but we've accumulated a lot. I mean, a lot of those weapons there, so it would be nice to do that soon. Okay, let's activate one of those quests that we think is in fact around here. Don't think it's any of the treasure hunts. I think it is a Witcher contract. I think it was this one. Was it? No, not quite. That's a little further south. I think there is still one here, though, is there not? Talk to this dude in Ranveg. Yes. That is level 29. So, I mean, we can negotiate the price in advance. Let's do that, just in case we happen across that spot and accidentally get to the point of no return where, well, not the point of no return, but you've seen in the past, we've seen that when you, like, accidentally go into the monster's lair, even if you run away, suddenly you can't negotiate the price anymore, which does kind of stink.
bond.
So let's at least negotiate in advance.
Greetings.
That way, if we do accidentally go in that area, we can make sure that we are at least still getting a reasonable
Where
price.
should I look for your son?
East of here, midst the ruins of the fortress. He went there with some rogues from Pharaoh. Met him at the tavern. They filled his head with nonsense about some treasure. I said, Sonny, Pharaoh folk are lawyers to a man. You shouldn't fraternize with them. But he knew better.
How'll I recognize him? All I know is he doesn't listen to his father. Typical for his age.
His name's Olve, a cheerful lad. A bit of a lisp. Nothing special about his looks. Except last I saw him, he was wearing a yellow tunic. Lovely. None other like it in the village. Got it from me a year back, on his birthday.
Oh, that's
That
sweet.
ought to do it. I'll look around. No promises, though.
Oh, okay. Have we already negotiated a price? We may have. In which case, we may not have needed to have done that after all. Yay. Rock Troll we saw is actually level 35, not 27. Talk to the victim's mother. Okay, we haven't done that yet, but this is another one that's a high level that we may not want to do yet. This is the one that was kind of far away. Okay, no, it seems as though all these things are... In that case, well, we spoke to the one person that we potentially needed to speak to here. This one's on a different island. This is southern Ardskellig. So presumably further south than where we currently are. Right down the seas of the old fort. This might have been a little bit closer to where we are now. No, it seems like we actually have more things down by Piersdal, but I know we had something like here and here. So I want to make sure that while we're in the area, we get that stuff done. I want to try to be a little bit efficient about that. Like, was it this? Advanced Alchemy? No, definitely not. That's the Southern Ardskellig. Moonvik, definitely not. Horse races, I don't think it's any of that. Pharaoh, no. North of Arnbjorn was, I think, a little bit further away as well. I know there was something over here, was there not? There was something... Is it a Witcher contract? Missing miners, I think it was. No, that was the cave troll. There's something... I know there's something here. Maybe we just go down further south and see what happens when we go there. That's what I'm thinking. Something will happen. We might run into a monster who's affiliated with a quest. We might encounter new quests. I don't know. Either way, maybe that's the best way to make it happen. Not gonna lie, Shepard, I was a second away from drawing my sword against you. Maybe don't drop down there. 'Cause yeah, I don't actually think we've been down this path yet. This is technically already uncharted territory for us. Oh. Hello. This already appears to be the place we were looking for. FAYRLUnd? FAYRLUnd? FAYRLUnd. FAYRLUnd. Okay. Lots of people practicing their stuffs.
Well,
There is a
my
merchant
dad's
here.
all right.
Greetings. You're in luck. Yesterday, Alf wrapped us his longship sailed into port, so we've got fresh goods for you.
Oh? Oh, okay. Let's trade with you, and then we'll play some cards.
Let me see what Hotspur brought in.
Does that actually mean you have special stuff here? There's lots of furs. That's not really of interest. Unless this is the special thing. But I still don't really feel much need to buy that from you, and you aren't a specialist, so I don't really want to sell the swords to you. Do we have other random stuff that we can sell to you, like our junks, our own furs? Maybe? You only have 200 coins here, so I think, yeah, we just sell these things and pretty much gonna do it. we do this, then... Oh, I actually did want to sell all those. My bad, except you can't afford them, so never mind, I did not. Okay. I think we leave it at that, then. And then we play you at Gwent. And, I mean, do we up the ante? I think we leave it at 5.
How about you take
And we've
a
done
break
this
from
many
hockey?
times before, of
We play
course.
cards instead.
But this time round, as per your requests, we will try using a different deck because the rule of thumb that you guys have given me is that when we are not facing someone who is tied to a quest, meaning when we're just doing a random trader like this person here, that generally is a pretty safe bet that they're not going to be very good. So that means this is probably a relatively safe time to do something like use either Nilfgaard or Scoia'tael, I think are probably our 2 next best decks. But we, of course, have not, I don't think, ever played with either of them. So we've done a little bit of prepping. Every now and again when we've picked up a good card, we've made a point of putting them in our theoretical deck, but never actually gone through and played at it. So we might want to, yeah, like say get rid of you and get rid of... You're a medic. That's fine. We'll keep you in, but we've 4 Imperial Brigades. They're only 3 strength, but they have type bond, so they get doubled whenever they're in the same row, or whenever they're next to a card with the same name. So, I mean, we could go pretty crazy if we got lucky and had all of them in our hand simultaneously, but that is a bit of a gamble, because if we don't get multiple of them, then suddenly they're probably going to be our worst card. These guys are also type bond. They're both young emissaries, okay. They do go together, but at least they're 5 strength, so if we don't get the other one to go with them, then they're still decent. Let's see if we have any other better cards, like the apparently extremely rare Frangilla Vigo card, which is actually just a normal 6 strength unit, which is not really anything special, but it's better than Zarakenian Fire Scorpion, which is just a normal 5 strength card. It is Siege versus range row, and we may not have much going on in Siege, so in the interest of diversifying our cards, make it so that we aren't as vulnerable to one type of weather effect, might be good to spread things out a little bit across the different rows, but I think for now, let's just focus on starting off with what our best cards are, generally speaking. Like getting rid of 5 like you, and putting in the 6 that we had here. You're a 7, but you're a spy. And, well, I think we had like a 9 strength spy, which is pretty crazy. You want your spies to be weak. 4 strength spy is good. But where was the 9 strength spy? Saw it. You. That's pretty ridiculous. Let's try throwing in you instead. 7 is still quite high. Can we throw in Yennefer? We can. Can we throw in Ciri? We can. That helps. Can we throw in Geralt? We can. Okay. Could throw in another Scorch potentially, but I think at this point we have more units than we need, so let's remove some of the low-hanging fruit here, get rid of some of the weakest cards. And the question then is, who would that be? Okay, so it looks like we've gotten rid of all the normal 5 or 4 strength cards. Anything that is that low has a special ability of some variety, in which case it's mostly a question of, do we want to continue to use those? Do we feel like the special ability is good enough that still justifies using them? If not, then we're starting to look at getting rid of 6 strength units. I'm thinking, problem with the Imperial Brigades is I don't think we can get rid of all of them. We wouldn't quite have enough units then. And if we only get rid of 2 of them, then suddenly they aren't as good. So I think even though these guys, the young emissaries, are probably better than the Imperial Brigades, I think we still get rid of them, because it's going to be harder to get multiple of them in our hand simultaneously, and we can get rid of them altogether, whereas we can't really split the other ones that we were talking about before. What was it? Was it Imperial Brigade? I think so. So let's give this a shot here. I think Scoia'tael may also, I mean, it may even be better than Nilfgaard at this point. Not entirely sure. Oh, and I didn't even look at our leader ability. What is it? Okay, so we have Decoy, Commander's Horn. Remember that we have spent so long on Northern Realms being able to double our Siege row, which is functionally Commander's Horn. But now that we don't have that ability, Commander's Horn might be more useful than it has been in the past. So this could be a big pickup. Have a medic, that's good. That can be particularly good when combined with the decoy, so I like that. We have one Imperial Brigade. We'll have to see if we have more, otherwise this is probably the card that we're going to swap out. Vesemir, Fringilla Vigo, you guys are all just normal 6 strength cards, which is meh. You're an 10 strength medic, which is fantastic. So that's great. And no other Imperial Brigade, so I think we definitely swap you out and get Letho. That's a big pickup. And then you're just 1 strength, but you are a medic, and that is a good combo with the decoy, so I think you do still make the cut. Tell you what, though, Commander's Horn, it's not great here, because we have enough heroes that we don't have much to double here, because heroes are unaffected by it. And we are relatively split between the different rows. We have Vesemir in melee, Fringilla Vigo's in range. You're also in melee. I suppose melee would probably be the row that we would double in that case, and maybe that's good enough that we could still justify holding on to the Commander's Horn, in which case, what would we get rid of? Maybe it's the siege or the range? What did we... and we got Imperial Brigade back. Okay, so that was not a good last exchange there. Though it was a melee card at least, so we can double that. So, tell you what, in truth, it's functionally the same, because it's 6 strength either way. But we are vulnerable to a melee nerf if our opponent does have one of those, because we don't have any ways of clearing it. Let's just double check. What is our leader ability? Is this the one where we get to see our opponent's cards? No, pick a Torrential Rain card from your deck and play it instantly. Torrential Rain is one of the nerfs. It's not melee. Is that Siege? In which case, we just so happen to have picked... I think it is Siege. Because then it's what? Impenetrable Fog is range? I think? So yeah, I think we just so happened to have picked the right type of card to get rid of earlier when we got rid of the Siege card, so lucky us. Okay, so what do we want to lead off with here? We want to lead off with a card that is weak and is lower than the opponent's so that we don't get Scorched. You guys are saying that we could potentially deliberately play strong cards early. That way, if our opponent does have a Scorch, we can use our medic to bring it back. I think on this occasion, we're going to wait for that because we do... I think that's mostly just a case for when you have nothing that you would otherwise be able to bring back with your medic. Because there are still other purposes for the medic. Okay, what is your leader ability? Doubles the strength of that row, apparently. So we don't have a Scorch, so we can't remove that card now. But that does mean that we are quite a bit safer from the Scorch. And we did play one of our melee cards, which means that we may want to go all out on melee this round and double the melee row. Though we could also start playing some heroes who are invulnerable to Scorches and unaffected by the Commander's Horns. A little bit more of a middle ground in that case. Let's see how our opponent reacts. We are hoping that they aren't very good, because, like we were saying, we are deliberately using what is not necessarily our most optimized of decks. So, that's a 6 strength card, which is decent. Does also protect us a bit from any melee nerfs. They'd presumably be reluctant to use one when they have more strength in the melee row than we do right now. But, and of course, we are expecting to play more in the melee row soon. So, let us test the waters a bit here. Let's go Vesemir. And I'm thinking that we do, in fact, go for the melee double here, and we hope that that is enough. And of course, they're going to play more cards in this row here that is getting doubled. And then, we just keep on doing this. And we hope maybe they pass here. No. That's a muster, so they're bringing in more cards of that sort. And it is in the melee row, which again is not a terrible thing, because that does mean that if we were to continue to throw more cards in the melee row, well, we don't really have any other than heroes, and they're not going to be affected by the doubling effect, and they wouldn't be affected by any nerfs. So it's not really going to affect whether or not they want to do either of those things against us. But I guess we go here. We can be kind of aggressive playing in the first round here, I think, because we do have 2 medics right now, and one of our medics we could bring back with the decoy. So you passed. And that does mean we can definitely pass you here. The question is, how do we want to do that? Oh, actually, isn't Nilfgaard's thing that they win in a tie? Unlike Northern Realms, where it was that we drew a card when we won a round. I say that because if we were to play Fringilla Vigo here, that would give us 6 more, bringing us up to 41. And I think that would be a 1-card way of making sure that we win this round. Of course, Commander's Horn, it would be nice to use it now when we have everything in the melee row. except maybe we can use our medics to bring back some of those melee cards. In fact, we could bring everyone back, other than Letho, assuming that we do the decoy for you to play you twice, and then we have everything back that can be doubled, play the Commander's Horn in the next round. I think that works. Let's go for it. So, we are tied now. I am relying on my memory that I thought that Nilfgaard wins and ties, but I don't remember. Or at least don't remember definitively. So maybe we're going to tie here, maybe not. We do win in a tie. Okay, so that's good. And bear in mind, we are not as capable of overcommitting in rounds as we were with Northern Realms because we don't draw that extra card when we win, so we can't bank on that. So we are more permanently down on cards, though our opponent has used their leader ability and we have not, so there is a bit of a difference there. Really more like a 6 to 5 cards remaining a piece. So I think what we do here is maybe we... I think, again, in interest of not triggering an enemy Scorch, we either lead off with Commander's Horn, and therefore have 0 strength out there to begin with, or we lead off with our hero, because he's immune to the Scorches. The problem with starting with you is you're also a medic, so that does mean we're going to bring someone back, and bringing someone back means whoever we bring back could be Scorched. We could deliberately start by bringing back the Imperial Brigade, which is our weakest of the cards in the melee row, in which case, probably be the least likely to get our opponent to want to use a Scorch, and even if they do, it's not the end of the world. So maybe we start with that. Let's go that route. Go with you. Now we see how our opponent reacts. Okay, with Ciri. Ciri is a hero. She's not affected by any of those things either. And now we start doing this, and tell you what, we probably should have let off with the Commander's Horn, because that could have meant we go one more turn without having any terribly high strength cards. Well, I suppose it would have doubled the Imperial Brigade into a 6, and now by playing this medic here, we are going to get a 6 strength card. Here in this row, through this route as well, so either way it was going to be a 6 strength card, and yep, 6 strength card gets Scorched. Either way that was going to happen, I think. So now, what we can do is we can use decoys to bring you back. Now we see how our opponent reacts. They have a medic of their own. Uh-oh. Bring back a 6 strength card. Now we replay the medic. The reason why we do this is because that means we can benefit from your ability to bring someone back twice. We could even bring back Vesemir after you Scorched him. Yeah, let's do it. Just to mess with you. And then we'll Commander's Horn, and we hope that's enough. You're decoying, doing perhaps exactly the same thing that we just did. So this is a little bit dangerous here, because this is our last card, and like I was saying before, we don't have the ability to draw additional cards if we win. Can't even use our leader ability on this occasion? Uh-oh. We have lost. Fellas, we can't win this next round here with 0 cards remaining. So, unless they have no cards that can do things special and we win on a tie, I suppose is theoretically possible. No, but assuming you bring back something that has some strength with your medic here, you have, in fact, won. Okay, so we got punished a bit there for getting clever. I still think it's possible to beat you with a deck other than Northern Realms. It's not like you had an amazing deck. I do wonder if maybe we could go with Scoia'tael instead.
Greetings. You're in luck. Yesterday, Olaf wrapped us his long
And if it turns out that
ship
Scoia'tael
sailed
is
in port, so
not
we've
good
got
enough
fresh
either,
goods for
then of course we can revert to Northern Realms. And that should certainly be able to do the trick. I suppose
How
we
about you
did
take a
lose
break from hockey?
5
We play
coins in the
instead.
process, but I mean, it's not going to be a huge deal. Let's try Scoia'tael here. So, I mean, there's our first look at actually playing as Nilfgaard. What did we think? I think we did reasonably well, given what we had. We could have gotten a few more heroes. We got a lot, but we didn't get any of the really big ones like Geralt or Ciri with 15 strength. This one, I mean, arguably this guy's just as good because he's 10 strength and then also brings someone back with his medic ability. So that was big. But outside of that, I mean, we didn't have any spies, so it could have gone a little bit better. But I think that's about what you expect from a Nilfgaard deck there. So good, but not great. Northern Realms, obviously, definitely still better. But let's... monsters is definitely not the answer. Let's see what we can do with Scoia'tael, though. So... 3 Commander's Horns, I'm not sure we want that many. Scorch, Torrential Rain, Impenetrable Fog. We never used our leader ability. as Nilfgaard either, and that may have been something we could have done, especially in, what was it, round 1, when our opponent was playing a bunch of things in the range row. That probably could have helped a lot. So, okay, I'm immediately seeing we do have some 5 strength cards remaining here with no special abilities. There's probably something we'll want to switch around a bit. And you guys, are you just simple 5 strength cards as well? Okay, that's a little bit concerning, just how many of those we have. So that's raising a bit of a red flag for me now, but we do still have more heroes that we can put in. That should mean, in fact, many, and this is technically not a hero, but still an amazingly powerful card. You're decent as well, so I think when you have Mustard, do we have more Dwarven Skirmishers for you to tag along with? We do. Okay, so we should definitely put you back in. Elven Skirmishers, you're only 2 strength, but you also have Muster. Basically just a worse version of the Dwarven Skirmishers. Yeah, I think we stick with the Dwarven Skirmishers then. Now we have way too many unit cards. So now that we have the good cards in, let's see what the worst cards remaining are. We have 0 strength Medics, which I think we can probably still stick with because Medic can be strong enough. That ability in and of itself. You're definitely not good. 4 strength with no special abilities, 5 strength with no special abilities. I mean, I would say you're next on the list, but we have things that are 4 strength with no special abilities. Let's get rid of you first. Doesn't seem like we have any more, though. Okay, so now, next go the 5s. And basically just keep on going until we reach the limit in terms of how many cards we can get rid of. You are a unit with Muster. So we have more Hawker Smugglers, which we do. Or actually, have a card, Smugglers. I mean, not a ton, but we do have at least some. So, still better than other generic 5 strength units like Mahakam Defenders. Let's dump you guys. And I think, what is it? 22 is the minimum amount of units. So we could actually still get rid of a few more. Huh. In which case, what were we saying we might want to do? We have the Dwarven Skirmishers, which are only 3. So they aren't great, but they do have Muster, so as long as we... actually, what you want with them is to have only 1 in your hand at a time. Then that could still work well. Similar with these guys, or these guys I should say. The 5 strength ones that you can play in either row, that might be next to go. I mean, that's not really adding strength as much as it's just row flexibility. I think we can get rid of 1 more unit. Who would it be? We have 6 strength that you can play in either row. Maybe even one of those Commander's Horns, like I was saying. 3 of those is risky, because once you start getting a bunch of them, then, I mean, you have more Commander's Horns than you have units to double. So I think there's some point where it's no longer worth it, although it's really unit that we're looking to get rid of here. Can we throw another decoy in, though? If we could do that. That tends to be something that is pretty safe to put in a lot of, especially when we have as many healers as we do, as many medics as we do. I think, given that, I'm feeling more comfortable about loading up on the decoys. Maybe even the Scorches? We don't have too many really high strength cards, other than our heroes. One exception being Milva here. 6 strength, other than that, would be our highest, so I think that's somewhat reliable that we'd be able to Scorch opponents. Maybe we just stick with what we have here. I think we stick with this. And let's just double check our leader ability stuff. So, there's a special button for that, is there not? I would like to check our... Oh, change leader's X. Okay, let's see. So this one, pick a Biting Frost card from your deck and play it instantly. Biting Frost is the melee nerf. Okay, so I mean, it could work. We saw our opponent is also going to be Scoia'tael, and they, I think, had a lot of those cards that you can play in either range or melee row. They opted to play them in the range row, but they did also have some Muster in the melee row, so that might not be bad, but let's see what our alternatives are. Draw an extra card at the beginning of the battle that could also be very good. Doubles the strength of all your range combat units, so basically the range version of the Commander's Horn that we were getting from our Northern Realms deck, and then these ones we don't yet have. So this could work, based on how successful we saw it be with Northern Realms, and I think we have enough range cards to make that happen. Otherwise, I think this could also work well. Let's go with this one, maybe. A little bit different. Let's try it. We go first. Okay, we draw an extra card. We have a couple of decoys. Siege nerf may not really be the kind of nerf we're looking for, because I don't think our opponent's going to have a lot happening in Siege. It's either melee or range. So that might be one we get rid of. Clear Weather, maybe. Commander's Horn, okay. We have one Havokar Smuggler. It has muster, so we don't want the other ones. We want them to stay in our deck. Then you're just normal 6 strength. You're 6 strength that can go in either row. 6 strength that can go in either row. Hero, hero. Okay. So nothing crazy here. We actually don't have any of our medics, surprisingly. Right? The best thing is probably Siri, and then, I mean, a couple decoys, but we may not have many things to do with those decoys. Like, we get rid of Torrential Rain. Okay, you are fantastic. You are, like, arguably our best card. So, you are also... you're not a medic. You have +1 to other units in the row, that being the range row, meaning we'll probably want to play you guys in range. Don't think that affects the heroes, so Etienne, or Etienne, however you say your name, it's not going to affect you, I don't think. Is there anyone else we'd like to switch around? Maybe Clear Weather? Maybe even a decoy? Because they do work best with the medics, and we don't have medic right now. Other thing would be Steal and Spy. We didn't see our opponent playing any spies last time. Maybe they will, but I think 2 is a little bit too much in that case. What did we draw into? We drew into Saskia for 10. I think 10 strength hero. Yes, I think that is worthwhile. Okay, we have one more card than our opponent because we are using the hero ability that gave us that extra card. So, what do we lead off with? I mean, ideally something that is not going to get scorched, so I think we lead off with a hero. Let's go with Saskia. We don't have a Scorch ourselves, at least on our hand, so... Okay, you're also leading off with a hero. I mean, we could do the same thing. Like I was saying, even though you are in the range row, I don't think Milva will give you +1 because you are a hero. I think that still is something that gets ignored by heroes. But because you have played a hero yourself, that means we are still scorchable with any non-hero that we play here. We could preemptively use Commander's Horn, or we play another hero. I think are our 2 options here. Let's play another hero. Okay, you can play that in either row. You go for range. Does that affect us at all? Not really. No. Okay. Then, and you are 6 strength, which means we have a little bit more flexibility. Now I think we could go with this in the melee row. Bring all of our friends over with the muster. Yeah, you wouldn't be scorchable. The worry would be potentially melee nerf, though we do have the ability to remove that with Clear Weather, so I think that's fine. Let's do it. I think you only bring 1 over, because we only have 1 other of these guys. It does allow us to pull ahead here, at least briefly. Okay, more heroes for you. Giving you a 1 strength lead right now. So, I think we play you. And it does mean that we are tied for the highest units out there. I want to play you because you're in the melee row. And I'm not sure I want to start playing all of our range cards yet. We want to play them together with Milva. At least these guys who can go in either row. And I suspect that it won't boost the heroes like I was saying. And we will also probably double the melee, or double the range row rather. Actually, doubling the melee row here would be not quite as good, almost as good. That doubled your range row, which does mean it is safe to play higher value cards, yes. But do we want to do that? Actually, can this bring cards back from the graveyard? I doubt it with muster. I'm wondering, could we decoy you back and then still get the other card to trigger when we play you in the next round? In your deck and play them instantly. I assume that does not include graveyard. So, I hate that you're leading by 1 right now, but I do kind of feel like we need to pass here. Could potentially play Siri. Problem is, if we do that, then we are almost 100% committing to winning this round, and then we don't have much left over for winning another round. So it puts us in a bit of a tough position. It's also, that's 15 strength when we only need 2. So I think we do, in fact, pass here. What do we double? We double melee? And then we'll also be tied with 12 as the highest card, so Scorch will get rid of one of yours and one of ours. Maybe we do that. I think we do. Because that way it's going to take, presumably, more than one card for them to catch up with us here. I think we win this exchange. You use your Avatar Smuggler, now we're tied. Okay, now I think we pass. And we basically dare our opponent. Are you willing to stick with the tie? Fine, we'll take our card advantage into the next round. If you aren't, then you will play another card. And then we will have even more card advantage going to the next round. Okay. So now, I would argue they should pass instantly. Oh, they have medics, though. We do not have any medics. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Our card advantage number in that case was a little bit misleading. You have a 6 strength unit. That means we definitely don't want to lead off with Milva. And we might want to save her. I think we go with a 6 strength unit of our own. We played in the range row, in case we do still opt to play Milva here. We need to be... I hate the medics! Means, in truth, you have a lot more than the 2 cards it looks like you have right now. But if we... At least they have 0 strength themselves. So if we play this as well, then that means that we are still tied for you, and once again, both of us have 2 6 strength units. So Scorch doesn't really... Well, okay, it hurts us both equally. Went for it anyway. I mean, in truth, it probably was affecting us more because we were about to get +1 on our other range cards there. We did fortunately avoid having Milva get hit, but this is still quite a risk. You have 1 card remaining, though. So it could be... Ooh. Okay, hold on. Actually, what we want to do here, we want to clear weather. We're baiting you into playing your last card, or at least baiting you into passing. You have to do something here to commit. What do? You go with a melee nerf. Okay, so you have 0 cards remaining. What we do here is we can do anything, really. Just play either of these cards, and we will win this round. We'll play Ciri. She's going to be unaffected by the nerf in the melee row. Even if she was, we'd still win 1-0. If we do this, then we pass. And then our opponent has 0 cards remaining. And then we play Milva, and we automatically win. Don't decoy her out, though. I suppose we could decoy her out and then immediately play her again, but let's not get too clever here. Okay. There we go. So attempt number 2, with Scoia'tael, we pulled it off. It was close. It was quite close. Had me kind of nervous there, but we did manage to do it. So we at least, on net, gained back the cards that we invested. I don't recognize the name of that card there. It looked like it was black, so likely Nilfgaard. Oh, it's the dragon! One that we've seen a bazillion times. Okay. That's interesting. And it has Scorch for close combat. Destroy your enemy's strongest close combat unit or units. Combined strength of all his or her close combat units is 10 or more. Is this specifically Nilfgaard, or is this everything? Because I thought we saw other people use it. Yeah, it can be anything. I think that's a good card. I think that's a very good card, actually. 7 strength is a lot to begin with. And that additional ability on top of that means that that likely could make it into just about any of our decks. It's not a hero, so it can get doubled. It can also get scorched. But that's... yeah, I think that's going to be a big gain for us, for sure.